Hey, welcome to Bollox, Talks and Tangents. It is our fifth show. Or sixth show, right, Blake?
Sixth show.
What number are we on, Blake?
6.
It's our sixth show. We have a YouTube app. So
Actually, but I had to cancel.
What?
I had to stop it. Our Facebook stream would have been a bit wonky.
Oh, okay, yeah. But we do have a YouTube channel. We'll load it in later so they can watch it because they're going to get so much information on this show. I can tell you this. I have information overload on this show.
Yeah, this show, this got deep dive real fast, and it is fantastic.
It got dark, ugly, and interesting.
Really dark.
If you like dark, ugly, and interesting, you're going to love this show. You're going to love this show.
And if you want dark, ugly, and interesting with a hometown feel, this is definitely the show for you.
I'm going to tell you, it's amazing. But first thing we got to do, we got to thank our sponsors. We actually had for dinner 900-degree pizza and pasta.
Yes, we did. Oh, my God.
That sauce on that pizza is amazing.
So I'm a big fan of testing a pizza place, pepperoni pizza. Keep it simple.
Yeah.
Their pepperoni pizza is amazing. It is fantastic. And the
great.
sauce. The kick. Mm-hmm. The kick on the sauce. Yeah. There's something to it.
Yeah. So, all right. So if you're wondering where it's at, it is just beyond the high school on Lewis Speedway in that little strip mall right there. It's 900-degree pizza and pasta.
It's fantastic.
Excellent food and so wonderful. They take good care of us. We got a pizza here for us tonight. Yeah, and I have other food for you tonight.
I know.
All right, you did the Chick-fil-A one.
I did the Chick-fil-A
one. But you didn't do the Brazilian.
And you'd think I would do a Brazilian.
Yeah. So this is the Brazilian here, just a bite.
Just a bite. So what I'm about to eat is Brazilian-style alligator tail from an alligator that Troy...
The gator
the gator he got.
Well, if you kill it, you got to eat it. That's the rule. So...
Gator tail.
Blake found the Chick-fil-A batter online, and we ended up replicating the Chick-fil-A batter just for the gator tail. So the first one you had was the Chick-fil-A one.
This is Brazilian.
This is the Brazilian stuff.
As an Irishman, I grew up eating alligator all the time.
Well, that was a staple. That and potatoes. Gator and potatoes. So, all right. We have other sponsors that we got to talk about. Speaking of staying with the food thing, Meehan's Irish Pub. Reggie and the guys.
Bad. Reggie Maggs might be the nicest man in town.
Yeah, Reggie, just a great guy. And they have 3 different bars, so you can actually pub crawl within the same bar.
I love pub crawling within the same bar.
Yeah.
I have gone there before and actually had 3 different tabs at the 3 different bars and paid one of them and had to go back the next day to settle up with the other 2.
You're like, okay, I paid. Yeah. And you're like, okay, I forgot the other 2.
Yeah.
Well,
it's happened.
I think, I was going to say it's 2 out of 3 ain't bad, but that's 1 out of 3.
1 out of 3 is bad.
It's bad. That is bad. All right. Place I was at last night. You were at last night.
I was there as well.
The Beacon Listening Room and Gypsy Cab.
Fantastic.
They're wonderful food. I did talk to the owners. We're going to have a gypsy chicken night in here.
Oh,
and they have some specials out there. They have some, just some great deals, under $10.
I can tell you, last night there had to be 120 people there last night.
There was exactly 120. That's how many were allowed in the building.
Allowed in. The service last night was unbelievable. 120 people in there. Wednesday night, everyone is eating, everyone is drinking. Every time I looked,
and everybody showed up at the exact same time.
It was amazing. The service is top notch. The Beacon, ladies and gentlemen, you got to get there.
Yeah,
you got to get there. It's incredible.
And Wednesday night's its own experience in itself.
Yes, it is.
Even though I tell the same jokes every week.
Every week.
Yeah. So, but
every week for the last 25 years.
They keep showing up. They keep showing up. I don't know why. All right. Other people that'll always show up when you need them. Abare, Kresge and Associates.
Your accountants, mate, they are incredible.
My accountants, I think I'm under 10 different jobs right now.
Under 10.
I think I'm under 10. Yeah, so I think I'm under 10. I might not be. I know I'm under 8 businesses that I own, LLCs. And these guys keep me in line. I can tell you this. The most horrible job in the world would be to be my accountant.
Oh, there's no doubt. There is no doubt. I think they look at the tax code and some of the stuff that was done in the 1950s and they go, all right, Troy.
Yeah, we're going to apply this to Troy.
Yeah. Great accountants. If you need one, these are the guys.
The hardest question anybody ever asked me is, what do you do for a living?
Yeah, how do you answer that?
It depends who I'm talking to.
Somebody asked me just today, like, what does Troy do? And I'm like, I don't have the time.
I don't know.
That could be an hour conversation.
I think we don't know. I don't know.
But the accountants do know.
They do. They
That's
do.
the
And
important
they
thing.
keep me out of trouble. They keep me out of trouble. And last but definitely not least, the St. Augustine Pirate Museum.
Pirate Museum. I was just there last weekend.
Where are you?
I took our passes, took the boys, we went. Fabulous.
Did they love it?
They loved it. So I was there a couple of years ago, and my youngest fella was a little freaked out by some of the things.
Yeah.
But he's older now. They loved it.
Did they go in the
loved
vibration room and the
everything? Everything. I'd say conservative estimate we were there 2 hours.
Excellent.
2 hours. Last Saturday's hot as Hades outside. We were there 2 hours.
AC in there.
Superb. And then I went to Meehan's for a beer.
There you go. Supporting the sponsors.
That's
I love
right.
It. I love it. All right. Well, you guys also, we need you to help out and support those sponsors. Keep us on the air. We appreciate you guys, what you're doing for us and the support we're getting from you on a regular basis.
Yeah, thank
it's
you very,
amazing.
very much indeed.
We're having a lot of fun with it. But the whiskey of the week. The whiskey of the week. All right. This is probably my favorite bourbon.
Really?
Yeah, this is probably my favorite bourbon. It's called Kentucky Owl. All right, it's made by Kentucky Owl, but it's called Confiscated.
Confiscated.
Yes. Wow. So it's obviously it's from Kentucky.
Yeah.
So it has the roots of a real bourbon. And Confiscated, it was started in 1916.
1916.
1916.
Beautiful.
So just prior to the Prohibition, they kept going.
Yeah.
Didn't stop.
Like all good people, right?
Speaking of Prohibition,
Go on.
the crimes
The crimes.
that we're going to get to.
Oh, my Lord.
But before we get to crimes, we have to talk about word phrases and origins.
Word, phrases, and origins.
All right, here we go. Tap it. All right. I wrote down, it looks like I wrote down 4. All right. Till the cows come home.
Till the cows come home.
Give the cold shoulder.
Yeah.
Rock bottom.
Rock bottom.
Or under the weather. Which one you want to go with? I got all 4 of them. I'm ready.
I like, okay, so I like Till the Cows Come Home because I heard that all the time growing up.
Till
I
the
grew
cow-
up in rural Ireland.
Oh,
Till the Cows Come
It's
Home.
not going to happen till the cows come home.
That's right.
All right. If you grow up in a rural area, I don't think it's a saying in an urban area.
I don't think it is. No.
Yeah. I don't think there's a lot of cows
No.
in New York City.
No. Chicago had that weird Mrs. O'Leary's one, which caused some
Yeah,
problems.
a little bit of a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little. She got a little hot around her.
Did
got a little
indeed,
hot
yeah.
around her. All right, so till the cows come home. This saying actually comes from the last task of a day, if you're a farmer,
Yep.
is to milk the cows.
Yep. That's it.
So
Like,
it's the
you gotta wait.
last thing. It's the last thing you do
Yeah.
before you get to go in and finish your day.
Yeah.
Good Protestant work ethic. That's what you got to have
Till the cows come home.
till the cows come home.
That's right.
So the reason it's till the cows come home is at the end of the day, you had to bring the cows in to milk them.
That's right.
And that means that was the end of your day.
Yeah. It's nice. It's simple, you know?
Yeah.
Till the cows come home. I like it.
All right. All right. So give a cold shoulder, rock bottom, or under the weather.
Let's go with rock bottom. I don't know
You don't know rock
bottom.
bottom.
Don't know rock
All right.
bottom.
So rock bottom. So everybody knows, dude, you hit rock bottom. That's your lowest possible point of your life, right?
I've been there twice.
Yeah, I've been there twice today. But when you hit rock bottom, it's like the lowest of low.
Right.
All right. It's actually a mining term.
Really?
So when you can't mine anymore and all you're hitting is the rock,
Rock.
that means you hit rock bottom. If you're in a diamond mine, if you're in a gold mine, if you're in a coal mine, and you hit that rock and you can't mine anymore,
Right, there's no more seam of mineral, nothing like that.
You have hit rock bottom. So it's a mining term that went
Yeah.
into everyday conversation.
Went viral, as the kids say today.
I think it was viral before there was the term viral.
Yes.
So,
Like it.
all right,
Like it.
this one I really liked. All right, give a cold shoulder. So if you give someone a cold shoulder, that means you kind of ignore them and you don't really want to talk to them or stuff like that.
Yeah.
But in the olden days, if you had a guest come over,
Right.
if you had a guest come over and you kind of were done for the night, what you would do is you would give a cold piece of pork or mutton or
Cold mutton.
cold mutton,
Delicious.
cold mutton or beef shoulder.
Yeah.
All right. And that was an indication. And it was a friendly way to say it's time for you to go home.
So I have a follow-up on that. Did you randomly, what did you do if you didn't have a shoulder of some meat product around? And did you have it pre-cut?
You told him to get the hell out.
Did you come over, like, cut it off and just slap it down on the plate in front of him, like, I was with you.
You gave him gator tail.
Gator tail's pretty good. But cool, man. I mean, regular mutton.
Is that the first time you've ever had gator tail?
No, it's not.
Okay, all right. I was going to say.
The gator tail.
Yeah.
I'm a pretty big fan of the gator tail.
Yeah, but I mean, give a cold shoulder. And by the way, this is much better hot. So just so you know.
Wasn't bad cold, to be
much
honest.
better hot. But to give a cold shoulder, that's how you would actually say it's time for you to go. Because it's always an awkward moment.
Oh, God. We had an old uncle. We used to turn the lights off in the house to make him go home.
Yeah.
He would never go home.
Yeah.
My parents would go to bed. And after a while, we figured, shit, we just turn the lights off.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
and I can tell you how it happened in my house. You'd hear the word, well. And that's all I meant. He was like, oh, yeah, well, look at the time. We got to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. If somebody said, well,
That was it.
that was it.
Wow.
That's
All
a
right.
real word. Well,
Yep.
that means get the hell out.
I'll try that.
Yeah. Well, look at the time. So, all right.
Fair enough.
Very last one, under the weather.
Under the weather. Go.
You want me to save it for next week or give it now?
Oh, do you know what? Save it, because
We're saving under the weather.
We got a lot.
We got
of
so
the
much
crimes.
stuff. We got so much stuff out there that we got to talk about. And the topic this week is crimes in St. Augustine.
Crimes in St. So, Troy threw this out to me on Monday. Crimes in St. Augustine. And I thought, okay.
I had some in my mind. I'm not even. I can tell you this. I'm not using any of the ones
that you had in your mind.
that I had in my mind. None of them. Everything I looked up blew away
Yeah. What you already had.
what I already had in my mind. And I thought I had a good topic before.
Yeah.
But I was in the Historic Society today.
Wow. So you went all the way. You went to the
I went to the
source.
Historic Society. I went to the Historic Society. I was like, all right, I gotta find some good stuff today. Oh, I can tell you this. There's a whole brothels thing we got to do.
We should.
And,
Oh my
and
God,
moonshine,
we should.
and I can tell you there are just stories just with those two topics.
Yeah, let's do a brothel and moonshine. Brothels and moonshines.
They go together.
I like that.
Whiskey of the week. All right. So I wanted to start with an opium house.
I think starting with an opium house is a great place
I think
to start.
it's a good way to
I
get
really
us
do.
launched.
I think so. I think so too. Yeah.
All right.
Little
And
opium.
It wasn't just an opium house. It was where it was placed.
Okay.
All right. The opium house was a Chinese laundry. All right. And it's at 22 Cathedral Place.
22 Cathedral Place.
I manage the building now.
That was the opium house.
That was the opium
For
house.
people who don't know where 22 Cathedral Place is,
It's the big tower.
It's the really big tower downtown. The tallest building in the town.
22 is where it was replaced by the old theater. So
That's right, the theater was there.
Matanzas Theater was there, and now it's Trip Harrison's gallery.
Yeah.
All right, but it was a Chinese laundry. So I want you to think, if you're St. Augustine people, I want you to envision what is 2 doors down from it. The oldest.
Is it a cathedral?
The oldest basilica in the entire country is next to this opium, and it's some of the quotes that I got from
what
it.
time period was the opium house?
This one was in 1899.
Aw.
According to evidence of the neighbors, some of the frequencies of the Chinese laundry in the Vale Block, that's what the block's called. It's called the Vale Block because Captain Vale owned it. The place is a resort for opium seekers and smokers.
Aw. Opium seekers and smokers.
Yes.
That's lovely.
Yep. So,
The poppies, right?
yeah, women said to frequent the place.
They're naming names?
Yes, several young men alleged to have become victims.
Victims of opium.
Yeah, victims of opium.
Were there any heroines to the story?
The women enticed them to come in. Oh. Yeah. So there it is right there. That's the whole article. Cost 5 cents to buy that article, November 1902.
1902. Smoking in a Chinese laundry. That's the heading.
Smoking in a
Smoking
Chinese...
in the boys. Smoking in a Chinese laundry.
Completely different song.
Yeah.
So that's how we're leading off. We're leading off with opium.
So if you're next time you're shopping downtown at Trip Harrison Studio, remember it used to be an opium den.
Yeah, it used to be an opium house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So, yeah. I mean, it wasn't like on the peripheral. Like some of the moonshine stuff that I found, and like they found like 47 quarts of moonshine. They had a big sting about it and stuff like that.
That's on the outskirts of town.
Yeah, it was outside, periphery.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, not the opium.
I like
We're
that.
putting it right in the Chinese laundry.
Right in the middle.
Where all the guests, and it's November, so that means it was tourist season.
Yeah, because wintertime back then,
Yeah.
it was the big season.
It was a big season.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if it's true or not, but I'm going to imagine Henry Flagler popping in there for a wee quick one, you know?
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Great man for chasing the dragon, that fella.
Yeah.
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah.
Loved it. Couldn't
Yeah.
keep him off the stuff.
Yeah. Opium.
All right, where are we going next?
All right. So, what do you got over there? Which crime do you want to start with? Because we have so many crimes.
Okay, I want to talk about...
I probably have like 8 crimes here. We won't get to about 5 of them.
This one's probably not quite as bad, but I think a lot of people remember this one. So in 1986, somebody with a 30-06 rifle shot out the Fresnel lens of the St. Augustine Lighthouse.
Shut it down for a while.
Yeah, and it turned out they called in the FBI to investigate because the lens was such a remarkable piece of crystal work, and it turns out it was a 14-year-old boy. Now, obviously, I don't know the name. I couldn't find the name anywhere.
He's probably still here.
He's probably
he might
still
be watching
here.
the
Might
show.
be listening right now.
You know who
laughing.
you are.
If you were 14 in 1986, right?
I'm a little older than that.
I'm a little older than that too, but not that much older. You're about 50. Yeah, you'd be 50, wouldn't
Yeah,
you?
you'd be 50.
You'd be 50. So happy birthday.
Yeah.
But it took them, they had to replace it with an airport beacon sign for a while. And eventually they got the lens fixed and it resumed operation in 1993. But somebody shot the darn thing out.
No, I remember. I remember when it came back on.
Yeah.
I was here in '87. It didn't work until I was already working at Parks and Rec at the time.
Yeah.
So here's 2 unique things about lighthouses.
Okay.
That a lot of people don't know. All right, there's a daytime marker and a nighttime marker.
This I do know.
Okay, so the daytime marker is the main base is one color. Like ours is black and white.
Yeah.
The base is black and white and it has a red cap.
Yeah.
There's no other lighthouse in the entire world that has that daytime marker. All right.
Really?
So there's one I think in Hatteras that has the same base but it has a black cap. But there's a daytime marker, and then the nighttime marker is the timing of every single lighthouse is different.
Right, so they like to go around.
So if you're out and you get lost at sea and you think, okay, I'm at Ponce, then you time it and you go, no, I'm in St. Augustine.
Oh.
So that there's a daytime marker and a nighttime marker for every single lighthouse that is unique to each one of those lighthouses.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So
There you go.
yeah.
All right,
So
give me another.
add a bonus there. Add a bonus. All right.
Lighthouse work.
So I'm actually going to hand you this one. All right. I just want you to read here to like here. All right.
I like that you think I can see all
Okay,
that stuff.
okay,
I'm gonna
so
I'm going to put the glasses on for this one.
I'm sorry.
I got to get out there. Okay. So the headline is Murdered an Entire Family. That's
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Murdered an Entire Family. William Austin, crazed by a hopeless infatuation, kills 5 persons and then suicides. William Wilkinson of Hastings and 4 other members of his household mercilessly butchered, only a wailing infant left as a witness. Here's my favourite part. His mad passion for a 13-year-old girl
13-year-old girl.
who refused to marry him is the reason assigned for his rash act, the horrible deed done in the dead of night. The evening record...
He killed. Yeah, evening record, give the date.
May 19th, 1902.
He murdered the entire family because a 13-year-old girl wouldn't marry him. All right? That happened in Hastings in 1902.
Wow. 5 people killed.
6 including him.
6 and then he killed
He killed
himself.
himself.
Jesus.
So that one I was just like, oh, am I reading that right?
And 13-year-old girls, they're notoriously fickle with their hearts.
Oh, yeah.
Notoriously fickle.
So I just, my goodness.
All right.
Yeah.
You got another one?
Oh, I got several. Before we get to the darkest one, this one was the one I think that angered me the most, and there's people murdered throughout this entire show.
Yeah, but this one is just twisted.
This
for
one's
so
just
many reasons.
Weird.
Yeah.
Super weird. And I read it again just to make sure I was reading this correctly. This took place in September of 1986.
1986.
So I moved here in September of 87. So it's exactly 1 year.
A lot of strange stuff happened in this town in 86.
Yeah. When we get to Crazy Bill, it gets really nuts. All right. A total of 18 stab wounds inflicted on 7 sightseeing tour horses.
Yeah.
This guy stabbed. He took a knife.
Horses.
None of the horses were dead. None of them were fatal injuries.
Yeah.
But he just went down to the stables and started stabbing the horses.
Yeah. Yeah. And they would come right up to him, right? They would come to the stall, and they think he was trying to get their jugular vein or their carotid.
Yeah, he was trying to go for their jugular.
Yeah. Yeah. He stabbed, 7 horses?
Yeah, he stabbed 7 different horses. He stabbed one of them like 7 times.
Like what?
What
is wrong with people?
And they're talking about like, the horses being like the friendliest of horses that just, they probably thought he was bringing them an apple, which people do. And they, oh my God.
Did they catch the guy?
They got him,
right?
They caught him. So
what a wacko.
But in 1986 that happened. So it was a year before I got here. I didn't know this. I read this one. This one really stood out. It says sick person stabs horses.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that when I first came here, but
the first time
you showed it me today.
First time I read it today. I didn't know the story until I read it today.
Stabbing horses.
Okay, so he's winning the asshole of the week. You remember I had a president that was an asshole of all presidents? I think it was Hoover that made him dive into. Yeah, this guy's the asshole of the week.
Asshole of the week.
Yeah.
Yay!
There's some of the. I mean, they're all the stories that we have are crazy.
They are really crazy. So I got. This one is probably, if not the most famous, but it's close to the most famous. There's books written about it, TV shows made about it. Mm-hmm. It's the book was Bloody Sunset, I believe.
Bloody Sunset, yeah.
But it's the famous murder that happened on Marine Street.
Yeah.
Beautiful Marine Street, 124 Marine Street, where Athalia Ponsell Lindsley, former dancer in New York, she was a one-time engaged to Joseph Kennedy, John F. Kennedy's older brother, who was then killed in the war. She was married to a former mayor of St. Augustine, James Jinks Lindsley.
Yeah.
And on the afternoon of January the 23rd, 1974, between 5:30 and 6 o'clock in the evening, in broad daylight, she was macheted
Chopped with
death.
a machete.
Chopped with a machete, almost decapitated. Apparently her neck was just hanging on by one little tendon.
Yeah.
And although somebody was tried, they were never convicted, and nobody served time for the crime.
They found the machete.
The machete.
They found his clothes.
They found the clothes.
Next to the machete. In the marsh down near Little Links, where Eddie Vickers Park is.
Yeah, right down there.
Right where Eddie Vickers Park is, where the softball field is. There's a little marsh there. It used to be called Little Links.
Yeah,
because there was the black golf course was there.
That's right. Yep.
So Little Links was there, and they found all of that. But this man happened to be the county manager.
Yes, who also
he was
lived
very, very well connected, and she was not well liked.
She was hated.
Yeah,
she was hated.
She was a northern woman
who came down here and she had opinions about things.
She told everybody how they did it up north, including her neighbor, because he was her neighbor also.
Lived next door to her.
He was her neighbor also. So she was macheted on her front porch.
Yeah.
Wearing a dress, and I don't know why they put this in the article, but she wasn't wearing underwear. I don't know why they put that in the article. Yeah. But it's the thing that kind of sticks in your head.
Yeah.
When you read about it, you're like, okay, why did they put that in the article? Yeah. Why is that relevant to the story?
So the part that I love was she lived there. She'd only been married a couple of months to...
Yeah, they lived in separate houses.
Her and her
husband lived in separate houses.
He lived over on Lou Boulevard.
Yeah.
And so they'd been together all day.
Yeah.
Because he was suspected straight away.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But then there was no way he could have been because he was seen in different places.
Well, he was at the Seafair when it actually took place.
Yeah.
He had people that corroborated where he was at.
Yeah.
So
The Seafair, which is
Seafair
where
is
Candlelight is now.
Candlelight is now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was there.
Yeah.
So
But yes, the guy who lived next door was the county manager. And they had bad blood. She had dogs that barked all the time. They had argued at county meetings. They'd argued at city meetings. He had threatened her.
yeah.
And threatened to take care of her.
He said, "Keep it up.
Yeah.
I can make you go away."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And can we say we can say his name, can't we?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. His name
He's passed now.
He's passed.
He lived the rest of his life as a free man, like in South Carolina or North Carolina somewhere.
So I know where he lived.
Where did he?
Okay, so his name was Alan Stanford.
Yeah,
right.
I know it was Stanford. Yeah.
And I lived from 92 to 96. I lived in a town called Kresge, up in the Panhandle of Florida.
Gotcha.
And one evening there was a guy sitting at the bar. He came in several times, sitting at the bar, talking away to me. I'm the bartender back in those days. And it was Alan Stanford. Oh, wow. He was living in Crestview at the time. And I got his name, Alan, and then, St. Augustine came up because I'd been here, was up in the Panhandle, and he told me his last name, and I nearly fell over.
Because you knew the story.
Yeah, but he never came back in. Once he gave me his name, he never came back in because he knew by my look that I knew who he was.
Wow.
Yeah, Alan Stanford,
Wow,
yeah.
that's so weird.
So, I don't know, don't piss off the county manager.
He wasn't my county manager.
No,
he was not
he
my
wasn't
county.
yours.
He was Dan Castle was my first county manager.
Yeah.
Then Nick Meisler was the second one. I had several county managers when I was at Parks and Rec.
But this lady, Athalia Ponce Lindsay, like she was on television, she was on Winner Take All,
Yeah.
she was a model. Like I said, she dated JFK's older brother.
She was probably a Class C celebrity.
Yeah.
Where we're at right now, we're about F. Class F.
We'd be F.
We're probably F. We're probably
low F. We're a low F.
Yeah. But our listeners are sharing right now. We're working our way to E and D. So
I could be okay with E and D.
E and D. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, it'll be fine.
Erectile and dysfunction.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah. They got medicine for that. You're fine. It's just like wearing glasses.
Yeah.
But that story, and if you haven't read the book,
Great.
it's actually an easy read, super easy read.
Yeah.
And it's well written. It's written by a newspaper writer from Jacksonville who kind of covered the story and then put it into book form.
Yeah.
So I felt like it's such an easy read. Very interesting. And it's Bloody Sunset.
Yeah. It's very good. And true. And it's Marine Street. It's a beautiful house, by the way.
Yeah. It's a beautiful house. I wonder if they have to say that. I'm assuming they have to.
I always tell my boys when we're riding around town, I'm like, right there. That's where it happened. All right, we got
That's
another
the
one?
porch. That's the porch. All right. This one, to me, I found hilarious. It's not hilarious, but it's interesting.
There you go. Yeah.
It's interesting. All right. Tragedy on Washington Street. This afternoon, Wesley S. Daniels and Pearl Van Dyke, colored, were shot and seriously wounded this afternoon about 1:30 o'clock.
1:30 o'clock.
1:30 o'clock. That's what it says.
That's my favorite o'clock.
And Richard Van Dyke, accused of the crime, then Daniels conducted a small grocery store. So Daniels owned a small grocery store in Washington Street, and Pearl Van Dyke, who was separated from her husband, worked there.
Separated from the husband, working for Daniels.
And a jealous rage is supposed to have been the motive of the shooting.
Yeah.
So evidently, Richard shows up. He's accusing his wife of sleeping with Daniels. And he shoots in broad daylight at the grocery store on Washington Street. Everybody sees it.
Yeah.
All right. When they show up, it says Van Dyke was arrested immediately after his crime by Deputy Marshal McCormick. He still held the smoking .45 Colt 6-shooter in his hand. Every cartridge had been exploded, and every bullet had been in effect in his victims. He was a good shot.
Hey, clearly. 6 for 6, right?
Yeah, he shot the dude 4 times. I don't think the guy made it. We shouldn't really.
Yeah.
I don't think the guy made it. But his ex-wife, because I'm assuming the separation went
You
all
don't
the
think
way.
she saw the light and went back to him after
Yeah,
that?
I'm pretty sure that they went through. Well, he was in prison. So,
Okay, fair enough. Conjugal visit,
yeah,
maybe. I don't know.
And it basically said Van Dyke was held without bond. But it was on Washington Street, so it's right where I'm envisioning this. This is where St. Francis House is.
Right there.
Right there. I know there used to be a little speakeasy there, and the Elks Lodge was there at this time. And this was in 1908.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That is absolutely amazing.
So, but it happened in daylight. Everyone saw it. He didn't even put the gun down. He just kept holding on. Kept holding on to the gun by the time. Because it's like someone had to go get. It wasn't like they called him.
Yeah, so someone had to go get the deputy.
Somebody had to go get the deputy.
So this guy did the shooting and then just hung around.
Just hung around there, holding the gun still. Yeah. So crazy stuff.
Crazy stuff.
All right. Do you want to get into the darkest of dark?
I really do. Yeah, I really do, because this was really disturbing. And what disturbed me, maybe not the most, but really fascinated me about this is that I didn't know about it. I lived here during this.
I can tell you
How
this.
did I miss this?
I knew this person existed, but I didn't know the details.
Yeah, I think
I
that's
didn't
it
know,
for me too.
And I didn't know it was at this extreme.
Yeah.
So what we're talking about is St. Augustine. And Blake's telling us, let's do an ad. Let's do our ads real quick.
Quick ad break.
We're gonna do our ad breaks real quick because when we get into this one, we're not going to be able to escape it. So we want to say thank you to our sponsors, and we're going to come back to don't go anywhere because you want to hear this story. 900-degree pizza and pasta fed us tonight. Appreciate you guys
Beautiful.
so much.
Food
They
is
do an
amazing.
amazing job. Their food is amazing, and quality food at a fair price.
Yeah, and it's right by St. Augustine High School. If you go to the high school, if you're picking your kids up, order, hit the food on the way out. They're beautiful people. The food's amazing.
Yeah, no, just really appreciate everything they do. Abare, Kresge and Associates, thank you guys for being our my accountant and being my friends for so long. They've been friends. I've been friends with them for 30 years. And
Thanks for keeping Troy out of jail. as
keeping
well.
me out of jail.
Genuinely.
And Blake, you should say thank you too, because that's your inheritance they're protecting.
The Beacon Listening Room and Gypsy Cab. They are the nicest people. The food's incredible. The staff is amazing. Like, it was rocking there last night. Every time I go there now, the buzz is tremendous. Frank is fantastic.
Yeah. He was running food.
He was running food last night. That's how busy they were. That's how good it was last night.
I think he got
It's
mad at
great.
me when I made everybody say hi to Frank. All right. Meehan's Irish Pub. Can't say enough about these guys. It's excellent food, great drinks, great view, great location. 3 different bars.
Yeah.
Anything you want in a bar in St. Augustine, you can get it at Meehan's.
If you haven't been downtown in a while, if you haven't been, and I know it's weird, people in St. Augustine won't go over bridges. I never understood that. But
I
go
hate
downtown.
bridges. I hate
Go
bridges.
downtown. Sit outside of Meehan's and just watch the world go by. Great Guinness, great food.
Yeah. And the St. Augustine Pirate Museum. Cindy and their entire staff over there, they do an absolute amazing job. They have over 800 artifacts.
They got original Jolly Rogers.
Yeah.
It's interactive. They got movie posters. If Captain Bill Mayhem is there, he will give you a great tour.
Ask for that tour.
They're so good. The history is so good. The detail is so good. It speaks to what Pat had in mind when he opened it up. Seriously, if you haven't been, or if you haven't been in a while, go downtown. Couple of hours with the kids. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant.
All right, I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to actually have to pour a little bit for this next this next story.
Hey, Dad, just want to give you a heads up.
What's up?
You're driving home tonight because I brought my own car.
I know. You see, I've only drank this much.
And
I
some
see.
of that's in here.
Yeah, thank you, Blake. It's good. It's good to have a monitor.
It is good to have a
So,
monitor. Yeah.
Yeah, and remember, Mike took some of this too, so I made Mike drink with me. You want any more of this? Or
No,
you good?
I'm okay.
You're good. You got your beer.
I got my
You got your beer. All right. So, well, this guy makes you drink because it's such a dark story,
Yeah.
and his name is Bill Lindsay.
William Red Bird or Crazy Bill Lindsay.
Yeah.
And he's St. Augustine's serial killer.
He's probably the most evil of all the people we're going to talk about tonight.
Oh, there's no doubt. There is no doubt.
And when you look at him, you go, He's not the neighbor you go, I didn't see it coming.
Oh no.
This guy looks like a serial killer.
He looks like a serial killer.
He looks like a serial killer. So in a lot of his victims, and he says there's 8 confirmed.
Right.
8 confirmed.
8 confirmed.
That he actually murdered.
Yeah.
From 1983 to 1996, all in St. Augustine.
And he was charged and tried for those 8.
Those are the 8 he was charged for and convicted of.
Yeah.
He says he believes it's somewhere between 12 and 20.
Yeah.
Because when he loses his rage, it's completely gone.
Right, because he doesn't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. The scariest thing, he said there's 2 Bills. There's good Bill and bad Bill. And you don't want to meet bad Bill. So do you want to talk a little bit about, some of the details, some of the things he did?
Just so you know, he did die in prison.
Yeah, I was really happy.
In 2001.
I was
so
delighted.
We're safe to talk about this.
Yeah.
But even, here's the crazy part to me.
Yeah.
8 murders. He ended up agreeing and kind of, they only charged him with 30 years in prison. He luckily died in prison.
Yeah. 30 years.
They only charged him for, it should have been 8 life sentences.
Should have been. Should have been the chair.
It should have been the chair. So, I mean, what he did to these people is just, it's not even imaginable. But Crazy Bill, we're just going to call him Crazy Bill from here on out.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it says on mine, it says +8.
Yeah. And he didn't start, so they said that they're not sure if he wasn't active in other places because
they think
he didn't start killing
he
people until he was in his 50s?
Yeah, I think he was a little younger than that in 83, but I think they caught him, let's see, he was, in 83, he was 48.
Yeah.
He was 48 when he killed his first victim. The first one he
admitted
was indicted for.
Yeah. Indicted for.
So, and his first victim was Lisa Foley. All right. She vanished on October 9th, 1983, after a night of drinking at
Tradewinds.
Tradewinds.
Yeah.
Lindsay later picked her out of a photo and said he strangled her during an argument after sex.
Yeah. And that was the other thing. It was always, sometimes he didn't know why he killed him. Sometimes he didn't know why he got upset. But it was usually related to sex or a failure to perform.
Mm-hmm. Well, this one, she asked for money after sex.
Yeah.
And he said, well, this is his testimony.
Right.
So we don't know if it's true or not. He said $50 and then they started to fight. He said, I strangled her and took her body down to Passetti Road and dumped her in the borrow pit down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, he preyed on women over off of West King. He also preyed on women in Lincolnville.
Yeah.
But it was just, it seemed, and I read a lot of this stuff just this week. It was horrifying and fascinating at the same time. But it just seemed to be that it was random. Like he wasn't planning it out. It was just
it was a lot of times
he picked women up and then killed them.
He picked women up, and if he had a conflict, and some of the women, he said, well, she tried to grab my money when I showed the money and took off, tried to not have sex with me, and he beat her with a 2x4.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he says it so...
Oh, it's so matter of fact.
Nonchalantly.
Yeah.
It's frightening. It's frightening, the thought process of that.
So I read an investigator, a guy who interviewed him, and he said it was just he talked about the murders in the way that most people talk about the weather.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and it says he plea bargained out of the death penalty is how he ended up with just the 30 years.
Yeah, and they caught him up in North Carolina, right?
Yeah, they caught him in North Carolina.
And I think it was, from what I read, and if anybody out there knows different, but I believe it was a friend of one of the county deputies.
He got a Christmas card.
Got a Christmas card. Yeah.
He got a Christmas card from him. So it was a deputy. They got a Christmas card from him, and that's how they found him and said, okay, we got to go get this guy.
Yeah.
He sent a Christmas card to a cop.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, he said that's just... and he was still... the last person he killed was in 1996.
Yeah.
Like that is
Yeah.
that is not long ago. It's 26 years ago. Like,
Yeah.
it's not something.
Yeah, you and I were both in St. Augustine.
I was here. Yeah. Crazy. Yeah. William Lindsay, serial killer, crazy Bill. Yeah, and he thankfully died in prison in 2001.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he looks scary as hell. Like if he lived next door to you, as Troy said, you're not going, oh, he's so nice.
Yeah. You weren't talking to him. You weren't making eye contact with this dude.
No.
He's got eyes of death.
Yeah. That's a scary looking man.
Yeah. So according to this, the last one he was convicted of was June of 1995, and her name was Cheryl Lucas. So, and she was allegedly a lady of the night that he picked up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that was.
Do we have anything happier?
That was the darkest of dark. Okay, I have to go to this story because I did talk to Chief Fox today because his name popped up in this story. So it's a guy by the name of Cruz, Crew. Cruz. This is not. It's not in any of these. This is a story that I read today.
Okay.
So Cruz, he just gets out of prison.
All right.
He'd been in prison for 15 years. Gets out of prison. Evidently, according to my conversation with the former chief, he decides him and his wife get in an argument. He beats her up.
Okay.
So now the police have called in. He's about to have to go back to prison. So what does Cruz do? Cruz decides he's going to commit suicide. So he writes a suicide note, and he goes and gets on his boat and disappears.
Okay.
All right? Fakes his own suicide. 2 days later, he decides to come back.
2 days.
2 days. He was gone for 2 days. People were
Criminal
looking for him.
mastermind.
They were looking. Not Lex Luthor, I can tell you that. All right. 2 days later, he comes back to his house. He comes back to his house, and his wife is with his best friend.
Oh, no.
Sleeping.
Oh, no.
Together. Not sleeping together. Doing other things.
Doing other things.
Caught in the act.
Yeah.
So he ends up trying to murder them.
Obviously.
Because, he's already dead from the suicide.
Right. So
Yeah.
they'd never catch him.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like, really, you faked this guy's having a crappy week.
Faked his own death.
Yeah, but he sounds like a pretty horrible human being.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he fakes his own death, decides, okay, I want to be back alive again. Comes back into the real world again because they never found him. He could have continued to faking his own death and maybe got away with it.
Yeah.
All right. Comes back. His wife is sleeping with his best friend, and then he ends up like stabbing them. And they all lived. The two of them lived. The two of them lived, but he ended up going back to prison.
Okay.
So, but I didn't remember that story at all, and it was probably in the late 90s.
Pretty recent. Wow.
Yeah.
So I got one. I don't know if this is a crime, but it's kind of a crime, and it's a little bit about one of the great founding legends of St. Augustine, or people
really?
that put him on the map. But Henry Flagler.
Henry Flagler.
And this is one of these stories that I absolutely love because it's just so bizarre. Henry Flagler is the only guy in the history of Florida that divorced his wife based on insanity. He got the law changed.
It was illegal to get a divorce
On the grounds of insanity.
Yeah.
He bribed the
3 days.
legislature.
3 days.
Yeah.
They changed it back in 3 days.
Yeah. They bribed the legislature. They made a law that said you could divorce your wife if she was declared insane. Flagler had his wife, Alice, declared insane. A couple of days later, he then married his mistress.
Which was her nurse, right?
It was conveniently her nurse.
It was her nurse.
Mary Lil Keenan. And the only reason Flagler did it was because word was getting out up north that he was probably having an affair with the nurse.
Yeah.
And he'd gifted her about $1 million in jewels over the previous 2 years. So he bribes the Florida legislature to change the rules.
Yes.
Marries the mistress. And then a couple of days after he marries the mistress, the legislature changes the law back.
3 days. It was 3 days. The law was changed for 3 days.
Yeah. So is it a crime? But is it really a crime?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know if you ever watched the movie History of the World Part 2. It's good
Oh,
to be,
God, a long
it's good
time
to be
ago.
the king.
It's good to be the king.
It's good to be the king. And that's what Henry was.
Yeah.
Henry was the king.
He was the king.
It's good to be the king.
Mel Brooks, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
my God. All right.
All right, nicknames.
Nicknames. State nicknames.
State nicknames. All right, we got about 15 minutes on state nicknames.
Okay.
So, what was your favorite state nickname?
Okay, my favorite state nickname. This is a tough one because there's a couple of them that are bonkers to me. Absolutely stone cold bonkers to me. Weirdly, I am connected to the Maine state nickname.
The Maine state.
The state of Maine. It's not a great nickname. The state of Maine's nickname is the Pine Tree State.
Yeah,
that's it.
It has like 17,000 acres of pine trees.
Right.
Yeah.
The reason I was fascinated with it is this. They have pine trees on every single thing to do with the state. Mm-hmm. The state quarter, pine tree. Flag, pine tree. Seal, pine tree. The pine tree is the state tree. The pine cone is the state flower. It's like somebody in Maine just said, "Do you know what, lads?
Pine cones, state flower?"
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like someone in... Yeah. Every other state, they've got something interesting for the flower, for the tree, for the... Maine just goes, "Fuck it, lads. Pine trees everywhere. Right, we're done." It's like somebody had 5 minutes to go at the end of the day, and he had to come up with all this. Everything is pine trees. So I don't know. I want to go to Maine and ask people, why, lads? Why pine trees? On everything. That's it.
All right. Here's the one that I didn't understand at all.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, I just don't get this.
All right.
Utah. The beehive
The
state.
beehive state, yeah.
All right. There's not a lot of bees in Utah.
Not famous for its bees.
Not famous for its bees. So I was like, why is this a thing? And it's from a Bible. It's a symbolism of a Bible, which refers to a promised land.
The land?
So, when Brigham Young got him there, the promised land.
Yeah. Was the land of milk and honey.
Yes.
The land of milk and honey. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
so
it.
that's how it became the beehive state, is because of the Mormons and the Bible verse that's attached to it.
And you know, there's a second part to it.
What's that?
That A is the land of milk and honey, but B, because Mormon, the community lived and died based on working together in cooperation.
Yeah.
And bees in a hive represent cooperation and hard work more than anything else.
Yeah.
And that's
the worker bees.
Yeah, the second reason for it. Yeah.
And bees do store a lot of food.
There you go.
And then Mormons, I can tell you this. If you're ever hungry, ask your Mormon friend for food.
Because they got it.
They got it. They have entire rooms dedicated because they have to have like a year's worth of food for everybody in their house.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the best food banks in the world are Mormons.
Mormons.
You didn't know that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Now I know.
Yeah.
I got one that struck me as, again, just things I didn't know. The state nickname for Rhode Island, not a great nickname, the plantation state, has nothing to do with, normally there'd be a negative connotation with the term plantation state. But what I didn't know was it's the short version of the official name of the state. Rhode Island's official name is not Rhode Island. Mm-hmm. Rhode Island's official name is the State of Rhode Island and Providence Plantation.
That's the entire name.
That's the entire name.
Okay. I did not know that.
I did not know that. That's weird. To me, that's just weird.
All right. Here's one that I found out, and I never put it together. So how good's your Spanish?
Oh, it's great.
Not so much. Do you know what the color green is in Spanish?
Verde.
Verde.
Yeah.
Very good. What's the nickname of Vermont?
Oh, it's got to be, it's Green Mountain.
The Green
Verde.
Mountain?
Yeah.
The Green Mountain State.
Yeah.
Never put it together. All right. So Vermont translates
Mountain.
to Green Mountain.
And the Green Mountains go right through Vermont.
Yes.
But they worked real hard in putting that one together, didn't they?
Yeah. So and it was settled by French settlers, and that's the translation of Vermont translated to Green Mountain.
Okay. So here's one that I did not know, and I thought I knew it. So it's the state of Maryland.
Oh, okay.
And the state of Maryland has two nicknames.
Yes.
One of them is the Free State. Okay. I don't really care about that one.
Yeah. Well, I don't agree with how they got there.
No.
Because they weren't the first free state.
They weren't the first free state.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I got to be careful about saying things about Maryland because the wife.
Yeah, you got to be careful.
But
you got to be careful anyway. Are you sitting up?
I am.
Lean forward.
Posture,
lean forward.
posture,
Yeah, lean
posture.
forward.
It's very important. Maryland's nickname is the Old Line State.
Yes.
Old Line State. Now I thought, and I talked to my wife about it, I actually thought it had to do with the Mason-Dixon line.
That's further north. That's up in
No,
Pennsylvania.
no. The Mason-Dixon line is on the north and east border of Maryland.
Okay.
But it has nothing to do with the Mason-Dixon line. What it has to do with is during the Battle of Brooklyn Heights,
Okay.
1776, Revolutionary War, Battle of Brooklyn Heights, sometimes known as the Battle of Long Island, there was a Maryland regiment, the Maryland 400. And they fought so brilliantly and did so well and held the line. And Washington referred to his infantry as lines. And this regiment basically saved the day at the Battle of Brooklyn. And Washington henceforth referred to them as his old line.
Yeah.
And that's where it
old
comes
line.
from.
Trust the old line.
Trust the old line. Yeah. Kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. A couple of them really make sense. I mean, like the Grand Canyon State.
Grand Canyon
Yeah,
State,
it's,
Arizona.
Yeah. I mean, Last Frontier.
Alaska.
Alaska. I mean, some of them just make sense. All right. So one of them that's out there is Missouri, the Show Me State.
Missouri. The Show Me State. That is.
So what do you got on the Missouri Show Me State?
So I got this. I came across this and I loved it. In 1899, there's a congressman, a Missouri congressman. His name is Willard Vandiver. Just that name is brilliant. Willard Vandiver. And he said, and I gotta read this here. He said, "Frothy eloquence neither convinces nor satisfies me. I am from Missouri. You have got to show me.
Yeah.
You've got to show me." And so that's the genesis of the Show Me State.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just so cool.
So it's just one dude.
One dude saying, "I'm from Missouri, you got to show me." And yeah, it's pretty fantastic. I discovered as well that Michigan, which is the Wolverine state,
Yes.
there's no Wolverines there. There's no Wolverines. And this is brilliant to me, right? So, 1835, the Battle of Toledo between Michigan and Ohio, an actual battle which kind of explains the whole football rivalry now between OSU and Michigan. Michiganders, great frickin' nickname by the way,
Yeah.
were described by the Ohioans as vicious and bloodthirsty as Wolverines. And that's where the nickname
They're
comes
like, okay,
from.
we'll hold on to that.
Yeah.
So-
I like that one.
You know the song Yankee Doodle Dandy?
I believe I've heard it once or
Yeah,
twice.
Yankee Doodle Dandy, stick a feather
Yeah.
in his hat.
Yeah.
Call it macaroni.
Yankee Doodle.
All right.
Yeah.
So the Yankees didn't realize when the British were singing it, they were making fun of them.
Okay.
Because Macaroni was in London a gay bar.
Okay.
But the Yankees didn't realize because of the region, they just thought, oh, that's kind of funny. We'll just go along with it. So they just embraced it and didn't take it as an insult at all. But the British were singing it to insult them. And then they got their ass kicked from guys from Macaroni.
Oh, that's superb. That is
So
superb.
that's where the emphasis of that song came from. It was the British trying to make fun of the colonists,
and failing miserably.
and the colonists were like, "Screw that, we kind of like it."
And I like any.
And that's why the Wolverines just kind of took. They're like, "Yeah, we can be
I'll be Wolverine.
We'll be a Wolverine."
So I also like Nevada's nickname. Nevada's a couple of nicknames.
Silver State.
I think it's Silver State, but it's also the Battle-Born State. Battle-Born,
Yeah.
because it was.
They needed more northern against southern states for the votes to go in that way.
Yeah, it joined the Union in 1864 in the middle of the Civil War. But, and I again, just reading stuff, Nevada only had 1/5 of the population that you needed to legally become a state. Apparently, you had to have a certain population before you become a state.
Yes.
But because the Union needed,
They waived it.
they waived the rule for Nevada. Yeah. Because when you're in charge, it's good to be the king, right?
Yeah, it's
You
good to
can
be the
bend the
king.
rules.
Good to be
the
the
king.
And I believe it was Wyoming that allowed women to vote first because they needed the votes.
Yes, they
to
did.
become a state.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think they had a woman governor like before women were actually able to vote in the U.S.
Correct. They're known as the equality state
Yeah.
for that reason.
Yeah.
First one to give women the right to vote. First to let them serve on juries. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wyoming.
Right. So steak nicknames that might need to change. The one at the top of the list.
Oh, yeah. What is it?
All right. Top of the list, and then I got some runners up. Okay. First one is the Heart of Dixie.
The Heart of Dixie, which is, of course,
Alabama.
Alabama. Yeah.
All right. Some people are going to get mad at me,
That's okay.
but this time is over.
It's done.
Participation trophy.
Yeah.
So we talked about this.
Yeah.
We talked about this. It might be time to come up with a new nick. I'm okay if you go to your football team and go, yeah, we win every year. Just
Fair enough.
Change your nickname to you got to beat us.
Yeah. Well, they do have an unofficial nickname as Yellowhammer.
Yeah, Yellowhammer.
Right? And they do sing Rammer, Jammer, Yellowhammer at the games and all that.
Yeah.
Yellowhammer's a bird. Okay. It's better than
We can
Heart
go
of
with that.
Dixie.
The Heart of Dixie's got to go.
Gotta go.
Let's focus on Yellowhammer.
Yeah.
So, all right. And the other one is, and I don't know if you've ever been there. All right. The Land of Enchantment.
I don't even know where that is.
That's New Mexico.
Okay.
Okay. It is the closest to being in hell that you'll ever be and still be in the United States.
Apologies to our big New Mexican audience out there in Albuquerque and Santa Fe.
If you're there, you know how honest that statement is.
There's nothing enchanting about your land.
Yes, I can tell you this. I found nothing enchanting in New Mexico.
Dang.
So if anyone in the comments can give me 3 good reasons why you would ever want to live in New Mexico, I am willing to read them on air next week.
And Troy is not working for the New Mexico State Tourist Board, I assure you of that.
No, I am on ours. I am on ours. But I can tell you, it's just, to me, I can't understand how that's the land of
The
enchantment.
one I can't understand.
Yeah.
New Jersey.
Oh, the Garden State.
The Garden State.
Yeah.
How? Okay, I've been stuck on the New Jersey Turnpike. I have changed a flat tire on the New Jersey Turnpike. There is nothing fucking gardeny about New Jersey.
Yeah, they can't even make left turns. They can't pump their own gas.
Legally, you can't.
Can't legally. It's the only state now. It used to be Oregon and them.
Yeah.
Oregon, now you can pump your own gas.
Oh, yeah,
Now
progress.
it's only New Jersey that you can't pump your own gas. I don't know if it's a union thing or what it is. You can't pump your own gas in New Jersey. And you can't make a left turn. They have what's called a jug handle. Have you ever tried to drive? You say you drove
I've
through
driven
there.
in New Jersey. Yeah, it's insane.
So, like, it sounds absolutely asinine to
Because it
Floridians.
is asinine.
Floridians than when we say this. All right. If you want to go left, you have to go right, take a left out here, and do a jug handle, go straight across.
Yeah,
So to go left, you have to be in the right lane.
yeah. Yeah, it makes no sense.
Yeah. Jug handle.
Yeah, I don't know. New Jersey.
And they leave the nation in nuclear waste dump sites.
Well, I can tell you this. I was once in Jersey City, beautiful part of the world, and I was going to a Brazilian steakhouse with a buddy of mine from Ireland, and we parked the car, and a cop was right there, and we said to the cop, "Hey man, do you think the car's safe here?" And he went, "Fuck it, man, I don't know. It's Jersey."
You never know.
Ringing endorsement. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah. All right. Tar Heel State,
Tar Heel State, North Carolina.
North Carolina. Do you know how it got its name?
Something to do with tar? I think Blake's trying to tell us something over there.
There's nothing on your screen, Blake. All right. So here it is. The Tar Heel State was the largest producer of naval stores, including tar, pitch, rosin, and turpentine.
Okay.
From 1720 to 1870. Theory about the nickname itself is Confederate General Robert E. Lee coined the phrase the Tar Heel Boys.
Really?
So the Confederates that came out of there, he called them Tar Heel Boys.
Huh.
Which is where the Tar Heel State derives from.
That's
So because evidently when they were hiking through there, they still had tar on their boots.
You're joking me. That's superb.
So it came from Robert E. Lee is where the Tar Heel Boys came from.
See, stuff like this I love.
Yeah.
Random, beautiful things.
Yeah. So,
All right.
all right. So we're at the end of our show. And
Thank you very much for watching, everybody, listening.
And let us know in the comments what you want to talk about next week. Usually Derek and I talk about it over the weekend and we come up with it on Monday and then we just get after it. I can tell you this was, to me, one of the best research weeks I've had.
Yeah, I learned a lot about some of the darker sides of this town.
Yeah. So, hopefully you enjoy. This is Laugh and Learn podcast. So hopefully you laughed and learned during this podcast. We appreciate you guys being there. Support our sponsors, if you would, and share.
Yeah, please tell everybody.
The more people that know, the
not
more
New
fun
Mexicans.
we get to have.
Do not tell anybody in New Mexico.
Not this show.
Yeah,
because they
this
won't
one.
be enchanted with us.
No, they won't.
All right. This is Bollox Talks and Tangents, and we'll see you next week.
Good night.
Good night.